Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
How festive.
I know, I don't feel festive. Kind of feel festive and I don't feel festive.
The fact you're back in here is not ideal.
No, then the guilt sets in of being away from here, but we'll be all right. Nobody's here. This is magical.
It's quiet.
It is, it's amazing. You haven't got to put up with beep.
And the shite music.
I know, I know. Right, let's get through this and I'll show you what isn't in here. Biggity boop. So it's literally like my car park in here. So everybody's off. We got everything done yesterday and I'm a nice, kind boss. So I said, don't come in on Christmas Eve.
That's all right, isn't it?
Because I'll do it instead. But everything's, a couple of cars didn't go, so quite a bit is over the other side. But we won't wander you over there and go through that because that's boring. We just kind of catch you up where we are at the end of the year. So Mitch was off yesterday, he had a day off, but fair play to him. He come in for a couple of hours to help tidy up because that was the main thing, to sort of get tidied. Someone's ringing me. So the Golf is sat here and that can go in the new year.
So this is for sale?
Yeah, this is for sale. Tom's on about, I've said this every time he's popped up in a bloody video, mate, but I think our Tom's quite interested in it.
Yep.
And he's got an F1 Clio.
Yeah, it's a tidy little motor, that, isn't it?
So yeah, I think he wants to do something, but either way, it's being sold. So, but I think he's quite keen on that. Then this is the S4, and Carl had the engine out on this to fix a load of oil leaks and a few other bits and pieces. So this is the one where it was his granddad's car, and his granddad sold it, and then he bought it back because his granddad's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of sentiment with it. And we fixed a load of oil leaks, and then he had it back a little while, and some of them reappeared. So we've had it back again. And like, I'll show you the one. So we've obviously had the sump off and resealed the sump, yet for some reason, it's still pooling out of the sump.
Yeah.
Here. So this drips on the floor. The rocker covers were leaking. So we redid the rocker covers a couple of weeks ago, and you drive it and it's fine. And then you leave it parked up for like a week, and then it showers oil, literally just pisses out because it's obviously on a V, so it sits in the groove. So Matt pulled it apart again this week, and the covers, essentially the covers are cast and they're coated and they're starting to delaminate. And I think this is what is going to be the problem here as well. I think when we pull this off, I think what's happening is the paint's flaking off, or starting to flake off. So we're sealing the paint to the engine, and it's coming between the sump and the paint.
Ah, right.
That's what I think is happening, because we're not idiots. We can seal a sump on, yet it's still fucking leaking.
Yes.
And the rocker covers, Matt changed the rocker covers, and we made it worse. Put brand new rocker cover seals on it, brand new half moons, front and rear, and it, honest to God, it looked like someone had just emptied oil all over the floor. And I said to Ben, who owns it, I'm like, mate, do you know what I mean? Build a lot of engines. We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, but again, same kind of thing. I don't want to put the rocker covers through the Aquablaster, and I don't want to put them through the hot wash because the silver coating on the outside is going to peel off. But it's like, you see M3s have this problem with the delamination of the rocker covers, and it falls in and stuff like that. So I think in the long term, he's going to have to find some new proper covers. So basically what we've done is we've had them apart, we've put them through the motor tank, and we've basically put a scourer to everything to sort of get the worst off. They were cleaned last time, but this is to more, it's not debris, it's almost like the coating starting to delaminate. And what I think's happening is the same thing. It wasn't leaking between the head and the seal, it was leaking up over the top.
Right.
And how these seals work is they run in a straight line, they get to the bolt hole and they go around the bolt hole. But the bolt has got a sleeve on it. So the bolt can only tighten so much. It's relying on the elasticity of the seal to take everything down.
Sure.
But then around it, the oil could come out if the seal's not strong. So that's essentially what's happened. We took the rocker covers off, and in the groove the seal runs in is literally full of oil. So we've gone back to the beginning, scrubbed everything clean, and we've also then used like a thin smear of 3-bond up inside the case, put the rocker cover back on, and then put them on. And it's been so far so good. The other thing we've also done, which I don't know whether you will see, is we changed the prop bearing. I don't know whether you can quite see it up in there, mate. Just about. Stick your head up in there, up over the top of that heat shield, look. So we've changed the prop bearing. Because it was very worn out.
Okay.
It's got a bit of vibration.
Yeah.
So we've done that. So when Matt comes back in the new year now, we'll take the sump off.
Yeah.
But as you can see, the coolant hose shrouds the sump, bolts.
Of course it does.
You know, because why wouldn't it? Now this one isn't too bad. You can get the T30 out, and that's an O-ringed flange.
Yep.
And then up here is a flat case behind the engine mount. But to get that one off, you got to take the front cover off. So it's okay. We get it sorted. And then that's the last little bit. We run it up before we went home yesterday. Got it hot. Let it sit. So we can check the rocker covers. You can obviously see this little bit pooling around here. So again, we'll have this back off.
Yeah.
But the problem with these now is the sump's obsolete. The rocker covers are obsolete.
Oh.
You can't. It's 25 years old.
Yeah.
Sorry, 20 years old. So you're starting to get to that point now where they're obsolete. We've got this problem now where V8, R8 shock absorbers, you can't get them. You have to put V10s on. Can't get them.
You just can't get them.
Just can't get them. No. Obsolete. Obsoleto. So that one is Romeo done. The Ferrari.
Aha, the Testarossa.
Ferrari. Yeah. Testicle. Right. I'll put it down because I really want to show you what we've done to make a cam sensor. So basically, this is Steve, GWR Motorsport, Hursty. Good old Hursty. And
this is still the car, isn't it? Every time I walk in the workshop and see this tucked away at the back.
It's cool. It is cool. This came to us, it's supercharged, and it was running on MAHA ECUs. So we're putting it on aftermarket ECU. And Steve's building a wiring loom. So Hursty's won World Championship sidecars, all sorts, BSB looms. He's built World Superbike looms. He does loads of car stuff, classic F1 and stuff like that. So he's a good old-fashioned loom builder.
He knows his stuff, doesn't he?
Well, he just puts wire in tube. I wouldn't say knows his stuff.
Feel free to comment if you're watching
He'll
this,
give me some
Steve.
shit for that. So we've had it all apart, Strapido.
Look at that.
And as you can see on this side, Davla, it's a distributor off a coil to a set of leads.
We're wobbling around.
You can see it down here. So again, this side.
Yeah. Come around.
So you'll have a dizzy cap.
Yep.
And a set of leads. What Mr. Hurst has devised is, that's obviously rapid prototyped, and that's a cam sensor, or cam sensor housing. So he's CAD the, use words, Rick, for Christ's sake.
It's been a long year.
Oh, mate, honestly. So he's basically copied the shape of the distributor housing so it looks factory. This will be done in, obviously, belay.
That's very cool.
So he's drawn the distributor housing, and then we've redesigned how it's going to work. So basically, we've got a crank sensor, which is, there's 2 on this engine, but we've got a crank sensor because remember, there's 2 ECUs, so there's 1 for each bank.
Yep.
We're obviously only going to use 1, but now we need what's called, we've got our reference, now we need a sync. We need a synchronization position.
Yep.
So we need to identify essentially cylinder 1, because then engine, that's how the engine then goes. It goes cylinder 1, blah, 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 cylinder 1, blah, blah, blah. Like squirrels out of bloody up, innit? Squirrel! That's basically how an ECU works. It's just a dog in a box that just every time it sees a point, it just goes, squirrel!
I like it.
Layman's terms. So Steve's obviously designed this box. He then found this cam sensor. I use we a lot.
I like that. Yeah. It's a teamwork, isn't it?
Yeah, teamwork. He's put the bolts in. He has. What a bastard.
Oh.
Let me get an Allen key and I'll take that off. 2 secs.
Okay.
Because I want to show you what we've done underneath.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I say, Davla.
Ah.
So, the worry... oh, God, Matt's going to be loving that. The worry always is is one is repeatability, and two, it's accuracy.
Yeah.
So if we just essentially cut a hole in that dizzy and glued a sensor into it, your accuracy is not there, because if it failed and we had to make another one, you don't have repeatability.
Yeah.
And that is Mr. Hurst loves the accuracy side of it.
It's like science at school, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't do it once, you can't do it twice, three times to prove it.
Yeah. So this is his thing. So this can only go on in one position.
Yep.
That sensor can only go in the housing in one position. And when I pop the housing off, then he's made this spacer to bring that out off the cam. Yep. That can only go in one position. And then you've got the keyway into the spacer. So that's basically, that hole is what the sensor's looking for.
Okay.
So if I turn it over, there you go. So it's obviously a ring that's constantly between that sensor, and then you get a gap. So it just goes, squirrel, squirrel, like that, like that.
Very clever.
So now that's our sync, basically, our sync. And that is it, mate. That is a part we can get because it's Volkswagen. That is a part we can get because it's Volkswagen. The spacer's homemade. This is homemade, but it's repeatable. And he's even, if you've looked, referenced the pin, the location pin, just there.
It's a proper job.
Yeah. So in the words of the dear old boy, you can't fuck it up.
That is what he'd say as well.
So he's going to spend, he's basically got to finish the loom.
Yep.
Because he does the looms for like MoTeC as well, the guys who build those dynos and stuff like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
He does quite a lot of cool stuff.
So what management is this going to be on?
Well, originally we were thinking M1, but I think Steve wants to use this Max because he does quite a lot on Max ECU.
Okay.
But it'd be one or the other.
Yep. That's what Rich uses for the Super Booster.
Max, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting more and more popular. They'll get more and more popular. They carry certain things on board as well, so knock, lambdas all on board. So yeah, they do quite a bit. We've got new injectors in it. Okay. So again, Steve's gone away, looked at the original injectors, found Bosch units that fit. So it's got 12 brand new injectors in it. Obviously then we'll put coils on it because it's going to change how it works and what it's going to do. And then, he's just got to basically build the loom up. And then it'll be like we did on the 355.
Then it'll be a case of setting it up, getting it on the dyno.
Don't blow it up.
Seeing what... Don't blow it up. Yeah. Seeing what power it makes with that...
MoTeC V1.
That is a big old centrifugal charger, isn't that?
It's a big old thing for blowing air, isn't it, but...
If you have a look inside, we can see the spinny thing.
Hang on, I'll come back over now.
So these don't make huge power as standard, do they?
No, I don't think they do, Davlard.
I've got a feeling something around 400 maybe, or just under.
I didn't even think it was that much, was it?
Was it like 370 perhaps? So I wonder what they're going to get with the supercharger, another 100 possibly?
Maybe, yeah. At the end of the day, the good thing about a supercharger is it's a fixed airflow.
Yeah.
So it makes what it makes.
Yeah.
So when you look at it as a fixed airflow, you can essentially tune it in the same manner as naturally aspirated. The airflow is a fixed amount.
Of course, it's
whereas a turbo, you can change wastegate position and change how much air density you've got in the inlet manifold.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, you fuel it accordingly, and then you just keep moving the spark until it goes knock knock, and then come back.
Of course, it's a linear delivery with this, isn't it? It's almost just like having a large capacity engine.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Closed loop fuel control, closed loop knock control.
Yeah.
You just get it in a nice healthy position where it's making good power. The type of person that owns this car is never going to have battered the daylights out of it. What makes it enjoyable is you get in and you start it and it starts and it idles and it pulls away and it drives. This isn't a go in a Santa pod, set in a 7-second quarter kind of car.
No.
So yeah, he's on with that. Once the loom's back then. The only thing we've had problems with is because, Ferrari is the interface. So we've got a 7-pin plug or 9-pin plug that interfaces the engine management with the chassis.
Yeah.
And every wiring diagram is opposite.
Oh.
So if it's a 9-pin plug on a car, it's a 7-pin. So if anybody has got a chassis interface diagram for this car, holler at your boy, because we're going to have to pin it out, I think. We're going to have to work it out ourselves. So yeah, first he's got to finish that now, Mush, and then we can put the loom on, put it back together, get it running.
Hopefully we can see it in action somewhere.
So that's next year.
Yeah.
Alan's RS6 behind you. Let me just
there it is.
move that towel to protect the inlet manifold. 2 seconds, mate.
Yeah.
So the problem with these now is the same, is we're waiting on parts. So this is out for, we think it had a front ender. It's certainly been out before. And we'd found lots of little things. Intercoolers were damaged, bolts snapped off, intercooler frames were missing.
Is this a car he'd recently purchased?
Yeah, so you can see the front, look, it's all damaged and bent. You see bolts snapped off in the frame carrier.
Oh, yeah.
But mate, honestly, waiting for parts. They're getting harder and harder to get parts for.
What, these specifically?
Just older Audis now.
I mean,
so what, 2008, 2004,
yeah.
R8s, 2008, it's almost like they get to a cut off and they go, right, we're not making any more stuff for that.
Isn't that a policy with Audi rather than certain other manufacturers? Is it a 20-year cut off or something?
Well,
and they just don't?
If you go to some of the R8 stuff, you're at 15.
Wow.
And they're kind of going, yeah, we're not going to make that anymore. So we're just struggling to get stuff. This is going to have coolant pipes, cambridge seals, oil pump drive seals, but some of the more difficult stuff we're waiting on, like intercooler brackets and stuff like that. Mate, it's like no date. I've got a front DRC damper on order for a client, front left damper.
Yeah.
I've had it on order 6 months and they still cannot give me a date. And the guy's like, I'm not putting coilovers on it, I want to keep standard.
Well, it's going to get to the stage where you're going to have to do that, aren't you?
Yeah, you've got no choice.
I guess people getting into these, that's another reason to be very wary.
I got to be fair though, right? When you drive, they're fucking brilliant.
I love them.
They are brilliant.
I love them, but I'll be too scared to have one now, having been here.
Well, I lost my ass on my one.
Well, there you go. So,
and I do labours for free.
Yeah. So you know your shizzle inside out, and you lost money on it.
Yeah, I bought that with a broken gearbox, fixed the gearbox, and it always smoked. I don't know whether, if people are new to the channel, had one of these, bought it with a broken gearbox, sent the gearbox away, had the gearbox fixed, put it all back together, and I put it back together, mint. It was the best stock car in the country.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
No bullshit. The only thing it didn't have was the start button in the center console. Had everything else, and it was fucking immaculate. But if you left it, if you drove it every day, not a thing. If you left it 3-4 days and started it up, it was like a James Bond car, wasn't it?
Oh, mate.
Smoked the living shit out the street.
I might even have a little video of that somewhere.
Mate, I had it back apart. We changed PCVs, we changed one-way valves, I had turbos rebuilt. I changed all the pipe work to the oil pump. I changed the scavenge valve in the back of the oil pump, made no difference. And in the end, $3.5 oil pump. I fixed it.
Yeah.
But I sold it. I didn't realise it was still being a pain. And I sold it to a guy called George. And then I had it back. And yeah, lost my ass in that car. And it just is what it is. But to be fair to him, he's running around it now. It's mint. He's had the enjoyment out of it. He's paid for a very good car.
Yeah.
Which I think is market value. He's got a leaking radiator at the minute, which he's got to sort. He messaged me the other day about it, asking where do I get it from. I give him a part number. But yeah, the car's been brilliant for him.
Yeah.
That's the ups and downs of buying and selling or getting older broken cars. You never kind of know.
Especially something like this that was, I mean, what were these now? These were 80 or grand new, weren't they?
Yeah, and upwards.
Yeah.
And upwards. Because you had auto cruise. You had carbon pack and a dash. Yep. Then you had things like where they did the performance or the plus, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, the one to rival mine would be Craig's red one, his saloon.
That saloon's beautiful. Yeah.
Shame it's red.
Actually, I quite like it red.
Yeah, I know. He'll be kicking his settee at home. Stuff like that as well. Yeah, I don't know. The blue, I think. Is it Sepang?
Sepang, I always thought was the best colour that Audi did on the RS. Yeah,
mine was grey. Daytona grey.
I think it was Daytona grey, wasn't it?
Yeah, this colour.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was this colour.
yeah.
Yeah. But when you drive these, they are fucking baller.
Yeah. And again,
C7, C8 can kiss my ass.
now there you go. There's the thumbnail title.
That's a better car.
Now there we go.
Yeah.
It's a better car, but don't buy one.
Better car. Yeah. Mate, innit? Do you know what I mean?
This is the paradox issue.
Yeah. Much better car. Don't buy one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember seeing these when they just come out in 2008?
Yeah.
It might have been, it was the end of 2007 at the Essen Motor Show in Germany.
Yeah.
And they had one on the Audi stand. And I just remember, and that was Sepang blue. I remember looking at it thinking, oh, mate, this is an absolute beast.
Mate, this shape of A6, even your car outside with its broken front suspension, so it's absolutely, it looks like it's slammed on its ass. Looks baller as fuck.
It's Mexican rake. It's a bit higher at the back.
It looks baller as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's out there in a minute. We'll go out there. Anybody who looks at that era of Audi with certain, like the RS4s with the kicked arches.
Oh, mate, yeah.
B7 RS4s.
B7's cracking.
Yeah, none of this new shit where they all look the same.
And also, I've been seeing a thing popping up recently on various threads on Instagram and other social media. People saying that the build quality, there was a sweet spot.
Audi was a premium car.
Yeah.
It was a premium car. I don't think it's, I don't think they're as good now as they were.
No.
Because everything's dearer to make, but cars can't go up that much in money.
No.
Although they're trying.
Well, they're still
crazy. Would you pay £80,000 for an RS3? Would you?
It's absolutely
You've got to be absolutely off your tits on Breaking Bad goodness, haven't you?
But even on a PCP, what are you paying? Like £700-800 a month?
Well, we will go out to see a car in a moment. That I have a new car for a reason. And that's a used car, and that is nearly £500 a month on genuine Skoda finance.
Is it?
Yeah. That's taking the absolute PP, isn't it?
That is insane. You think what that would have got you 5 or 6 years ago? Well,
well, here we go. So my red Gen 2 was £732 a month.
Wow.
When I had that.
What was that, a 90 grand?
That was, so that was, I bought that for 85 and I borrowed, it was either 60 or 65 on finance to buy that. And the Huracan, I borrowed the same amount of money and it was twice the price.
Wow.
That's how much interest rates have absolutely...
kicked us in the nuts.
Yeah.
You wonder where the car industry can go, because I was watching another YouTube video about how VW is suffering and all the German brands.
They're in a bad way at the minute. So I think we're about to see the end of the Seat brand.
Really?
Yeah. I think they'll do the Citroen DS3 thing and it will just become Cupra. I don't think there'll be a Seat. They're on their ass. The whole, because I've got friends who still work in group.
Of course, yeah.
And they're like, it's bad. No Christmas parties. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, would you buy a new car now?
No, I can't afford to. And I wouldn't anyway.
You're like...
Yeah.
The incentive always was on a new car, because it's interesting. I've just been chatting to George as well. So George's looking at changing, because he loves his GLC, but Bex Verstappen, who he's married to, literally bowls round in that.
Yeah.
Like it's got a leak in a fuel tank. So he's looking at changing, and he's getting numbers back for I think he's on about a Megane or Scenic or a new car.
Yeah.
And honest to God, we were in supercars for the sort of money he's being quoted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you always had a deal on a new car. So the manufacturer would push the product out of the door. They'd make the kick on finance. So I tell everybody, always buy the car on finance. Don't walk in with cash. Buy it on finance.
Yeah.
Even if you want to pay it off in cash, use your cooling off period and then pay it off, because you'll get a better deal on finance than you will than walking in and paying on cash.
That's interesting.
Maybe it's started to change a little bit now because they're all tight asses and they won't give a door a bang because they're not making any money.
Yeah.
But they always wanted to shift new product because the rebates when the dealer or the centre made their quota. Yeah? Which is why you would always get dealers at the end of the year shove a fuckload of cars on pre-reg
Sure, yeah.
and stick them on demos. And so as if you look down at the center, you would like, oh, wow, they've shifted 66 cars this month. No, they've sold 60 and shoved 6 on pre-reg.
Yeah.
They get their big rebate at the manufacturer for shifting their quota, and then they literally try and sell the 6 cars they've pre-reg at a break even.
Yeah.
That's what always used to happen. Then, if you notice now, they try and wind you in with wheel cover, tyre cover, dent cover, windscreen cover. So now the kickback isn't selling the product, it's selling
it's all the extras.
The bullshit that goes with it. The aftermarket warranty. You know, so that's where it's drying up. Then you add into factor that then where interest rates are just killing us.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you go, well, look at that. Would you like a new car?
Yes.
Right. Are you buying a new car?
No.
No. Because you're like, would you spend £600 on an A6 a month?
No.
No. All right, let's change the interest rates. And you go, oh, Dav, probably get, well, what were Golf Rs? What were Yaris's?
Right. So you could get Golf Rs. This is going back a few years. I remember seeing Golf Rs for under 300 quid.
These were Mark 7s, weren't they?
Under 300 quid a month, Golf Rs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was a new price, was like 40 odd grand, wasn't it? This price.
Which is why everybody had a Golf R, didn't they?
Having said that, that was on a PCP though.
But
and they're cheaper than an HP.
PCP is, but I don't know anybody that buys on HP now.
Yeah.
Everybody buys on PCP because it gets your monthlies down.
Yeah.
You basically, for those of you that don't know, HP is what's called hire purchase.
Yep.
So you're paying the capital off. There's interest on it, but you borrow 60 grand to buy a car. You add your interest on top, so it's front loaded.
Yep.
You divide it by the period you borrow your loan, 60 months, and you pay that back. So when you make the final payment, it's yours, lock, stock, 2 smoking barrels. So my dyno was a hire purchase.
Yeah.
I paid the £100,000 plus finance over the 6 years. And at the end of it, it was mine. PCP, which I can never remember what it stands for, but essentially means they take the residual off the balance. Yeah. So Porsche GT3s. GT3s will always look like a great deal on PCP because they have such a strong residual value. So they know in 5 years' time or 3 years' time, when you finish paying your lease, that you can basically, it'll be worth what the balloon is.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is you're paying the interest on the capital, on the loan, and you're paying essentially the depreciation.
That's it, yeah.
And then at the end of it, they've still got a product that is worth, I don't know, 150 grand, and the outstanding balance is 150 grand. So, like, that's why you get then varying costs per month. So a HP and a PCP would be a massive offset on monthly.
Yeah.
But my point is, unless you're planning to keep the product, unless you're planning to keep the car the whole term, you keep it as little as you can. Everybody in business will tell you, lease everything you can. Keep the capital in your pocket. Don't go and buy it. That's why you say to people, you don't pay houses outright, you mortgage them, and then use the capital you would to buy the house to go and buy 4 other houses, and start getting past that sort of thing.
You sound like Matt Armstrong now.
I know. Smart, I know.
Yeah, I'll totally get that. And I think the other thing with the PCPs is that the actual cost of the vehicle was hidden, and people didn't really think, well, it's this much a month. They didn't realise that the car is probably 15, 20 grand more than it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And then added to that, then you've got interest rates going up.
Yep.
So your borrowing's dearer. Added to that, then that the cost of making a car is dearer, so that's going up. Adding to that, then that the motor trade's on its fucking ass because everybody's buying electric cars and they ain't worth a shower of piss after 3 years.
There we go.
And then what did I read the other day? It was MoTeC. What's that podcast?
Petrol Ped?
Yeah. What is it they said now? The worst car for depreciation is the BMW 8. Is it 8 Series?
Right. Okay.
And he looked one up. He goes it was like 120, 130 grand list.
Yep.
And now, 3 years later, or 2 years or 3 years later, it's 50 grand.
Wow. That is serious.
Mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. So
it is broken, unfortunately, and I'm not sure how they can fix that.
Yeah. So Merry fucking Christmas.
If you've just bought a new car,
buy a sleigh. Just buy a sleigh with bells on. It is hard.
It's also scary, and it's quite upsetting for people that are passionate about cars and the motor industry in general.
Yeah, because it's what
Where's it going to end?
Yeah.
Are we all going to be driving around in BYDs and nothing else?
Yeah, because ultimately, run-of-the-mill cars are not worth any money.
No.
Not worth any money. Kate's car, that is a mint car, right? So that's a 2018 Ateca FR. That's 2-litre TSI, 4-wheel drive. That has every bell and whistle you can imagine. And I paid 14 grand for that with 34,000 miles on it.
Bloody hell.
That must have been 40-odd grand car when it was
Got
new.
to be, isn't it?
Yeah. Car's mint. Hey, bud, you all right? Hey. I know. Car broke down. This is Rich, runs a local TPS. My personal delivery man.
Yeah,
Cheers,
A Christmas jumper, lovely.
Shittest jumper in the world.
You should for the money I spend with you every month.
Absolutely. Right, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, bud.
See
you later. Yeah. Wow, that went miserable.
Do you know what? As I was driving over here, I thought, I wonder if we should do a Christmas rant.
Yeah,
and
do a Christmas
you've
rant.
just kind of organically done it.
It just... I wouldn't say I love the motor trade, but I love cars.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Even though some days I'm like that. I hate cars.
Yeah.
And I just think it's broken at the minute for a number of reasons. But all I hope is it just brings back people's excitement for older cars. There's not one car now, new car I look at now where I'm like, oh, I would love to have that. One. A Cupra Ateca.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
A 350 horsepower people carrier.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But the caveat to that, would I spend £55,000 on it?
Yeah.
Would I balls?
Well, it's like the Skoda...
What?
The
Sorry,
Skoda,
mate.
go on, so the Skoda Kodiaq VRS?
Yeah.
It's like amazing.
Yeah.
But
Would you?
I think
No.
that's 60 odd.
Yeah. It's like, this is my Urus argument. Great. I think they're cool.
Yep.
Right? They look mental. I get the positioning. If you could only spend 200 grand, if that was like, that's kind of like my budget, 200 grand, would you buy a Urus? No. You'd buy a 488 GTB and a Range Rover Sport.
Yes.
They are both better cars than a Urus, what a Urus is trying to be.
Yeah.
G picked up, did his squeaky brakes. So he came the other day. What was that? Was that a 21? Was that a 19 or a 21 plate?
I think it might have been I think it was a 19.
We lost the footage, didn't we?
Yeah.
So a Range Rover, what was it?
It was a Discovery.
No, it was a Discovery, wasn't it? Land Rover Discovery. I slept in the back of it all the way there and back to Birmingham. But it was mint. Absolutely baller spec.
Yeah.
As they all are. Proper executive off-roader thing.
Yeah.
£27,000.
Wow.
Mate.
And what would that have been new? 80? More? Scary.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Why would you buy a new car?
Yeah.
Why would you buy a new car? Well,
Let us know in the comments.
you would, at the minute, you would buy a new car because ultimately you'd probably find the monthlies are cheaper. I don't know. Put your hands up. A thumbs up on it. Can you do thumbs up on this video? Can you do thumbs up? Thumbs up to everybody who would consider monthly cost over outright purchase price.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's 250 grand. If I'm paying £1,000 a month for it,
Yeah.
for a 600 LT or whatever, I'm like that, laughing, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
If the interest rate's upside down and it's a 100 grand car, but you're paying 2.5 grand a month, it doesn't work, does it?
No.
So, Kate's there. Come and be in a video, love. Tell the viewers how you broke your car.
I didn't break my car.
You were driving it.
Yes, this is the car that I said, oh, Rick, my gears keep slipping. Can you check it, please?
It's not the gears slipping, it's
Something's
fuel
doing it.
pressure. It's
Right,
fuel
yeah.
pressure.
So you
Mitch serviced
drove
it and it
once.
broke.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
service
was stranded
it.
in Manchester.
I didn't service it. I'm the boss.
Oh,
I tell
it's
people
like-
to service it.
Who rescued you from Manchester?
Well, Nathan rescued my car from Manchester,
Yeah.
but my cousin rescued us by letting us borrow her car.
So shout
I
out to your
kept driving.
cousin.
Yes, big shout out to my
And
cousin.
Nathan
Jeez.
loves sucking up to you, doesn't he?
And Nathan, went up to my cousin's house and picked my car up.
Honestly. So we've had a bit of a shuffle around. So this is my dyno toolbox, or it was.
Yes.
So this is over now. This is the one out of my workshop, so that's over now. So both my thingy toolboxes are over.
Is it starting to feel a bit more like home now? With your
Yeah,
tools
I've
and-
actually got tools, whereas everyone that works for me is like got a Fisher Price set.
Yes.
So this is going to go in the engine room. I'm going to take the wheels off it,
Yep.
and this is going in my engine room. And then the counters Tom's are building. Chippy Tom, they're going to be level with this.
Marry up to that
So
perfectly.
literally do a whole thingy. So I've got to clean that. But everything's got to come out of that one and go in this one.
Yep.
And then everything in this one, the dyno tools, they've got to go over the other side. And then this one's going up by my box.
Okay.
And then if we go and have a look in here, Dav.
I'm not sure if the stairs had gone last time.
The stairs have gone.
They have gone.
And then if anyone wants some bike tyres.
You're definitely long on bike tyres.
Yeah. You're doing all right.
Yep.
So, and then, yeah, the last thing we've got to get rid of is car's toolbox. Right, let's show you the engine room.
Yep. Ah.
And then these are the counters that Tom's made. So these are pine, like veneered pine or polished pine. Really, really nice. Like what's in my other engine room.
Yeah, they're lovely.
So he's coming in next week to fit them. So
Yep.
basically, my toolbox will sit in the middle.
Yep.
And then the counters will go all the way round. Yeah, and then that's going to be, that one will sit in the middle facing my other one.
Yep.
And that'll have all my measuring centre and stuff on.
And you appear to have some Ferrari office chairs.
We have some Ferrari seats. So if anyone wants some Ferrari seats, give me a shout.
These are out 458.
These are out of Emery's 458. Yeah, so he went for sport seats. So he does want to sell them, but I think they'll just be difficult to sell because
People want the sports seats, don't they? Not the other way around. So we're outside.
we are outside. Do you want to see what we've bought?
Go on then.
Ta-da!
Oh.
This is all for Johnny at Late Break Show. Just for him.
It's Jonny Smith's fault.
Yeah. He said I should build one. Was it? In the words of, well, Mike Moe. Build it and they will come.
Yes.
That was at Field of Dreams first, wasn't it? But I always think Wayne's World.
So what have we got then? An LNK Superb,
A Lorraine Kelly.
as Nene calls
Yeah.
it.
Skoda Superbad. 280 horsepower, four-wheel drive, DSG, fully loaded. This
Mate.
thing drives itself. I was doing a speed
Yes.
on auto cruise control. And you
Yes.
literally, mate, you just go,
And that's before you've tickled it.
I know.
So what's the plan then, bud?
Same as what we did with the last one.
Yep.
Everything sat in the workshop, ready to be bolted to it.
So this is going to be our job in the new year.
In the new year. My only question is to the viewerings, do we keep these wheels or do we change the wheels to the same ones that were on the other car?
Let me come around the other side. Obviously, there's a bit of dirt on it because it's that time of year.
I've been bowling around in it. I love this thing.
Right, there's the wheels. Now, I think it should look more sleepery keeping these, personally,
Yeah.
but I like the other wheels
I've got to
better.
remember, were the other wheels 19s? Because we might not be able to keep them with the brakes.
Oh, yes, the others were 19s, weren't they?
I like the other wheels.
Yep.
And I think on a silver car, on a red car,
Yep.
with silver accents, I think the silver wheels will break it up. I don't like black wheels on red cars.
No, I agree. And there we go. 4x4.
Yeah. So we're going to get this built and we will give it to Signor Johnny to drive around for a couple of days.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we'll sell it. So if you are interested,
It'll be available as
It
an
will.
REP special, and we've got to get a Superbad badge made.
I know.
You have a quick
What
look
we should
inside?
do is like keep the Superb
Yeah.
and then you want like a graffiti AD.
That'd be quite good.
Do you know what I mean? Like someone's written.
Yeah.
So this is number 2. Pietro has number 1, which is the green one with tan interior.
So that's the Skoda UK car.
Yeah. And then this is number 2, which is black interior. Ignore the mess.
There we go. I mean, they're just well put together, aren't they?
They're mint. They're mint. Really like these. And
Oh, hang on.
comes with your brolly.
So it's basically a Phantom.
Mate, honestly,
It's basically a Rolls Royce.
people do not know about these cars. They completely underestimate them.
Yeah.
I would have a VRS over an S3 or Golf R
There you go.
every day of the week.
There you go.
The only thing that trumps it for me is a Cupra.
Yeah.
Cupra is my favourite. I've got a soft spot for Seats.
Yep.
But these are very, very close. Yeah, why would you? Why would you?
I've got a lot of time for this.
These are mint, mate, isn't
Yeah.
they? The only Skoda went through a little weird spot where they had the ones with the 2 headlights. Do you remember?
Yeah, I
They
do.
split the headlight in
Yeah.
the middle. That was a bit of a weird phase.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They kind of went all emo for a bit.
But the last, what, 5-6 years?
Yeah, it's a pretty car.
Yeah.
It's a pretty car.
It's imposing, isn't it, as
Yeah.
well? It's got a real...
Put the 19s on it.
Yep. Bring it down a touch, which obviously you're going to do. And this is going to be, well, I mean, this is the going up against the equivalent to an A6.
Well, you think what other, 450, 480 horsepower, what car out there does that? It's RS4, isn't it?
Yeah.
RS4. All right, RS6 is motoring on away from that.
Because that's obviously a big level
Yeah.
above, isn't it? Yeah.
But then again, how much is a C8 RS6?
Yeah. Huge money. And I know that the SUV market has exploded, but I still prefer
Saloon estate cars rule, mate.
estate cars. Well, of course
I-
they do. There's mine.
When like I was Callum's age, I always wanted a Mitsubishi Galant.
Oh, yes.
They basically had like they have a MAHA engine, a V6 MAHA in them, or was it like an Evo engine?
I
Or
think
could
they'd
you get both?
I think they had a V6. I don't think they did it with the Evo
Right,
engine.
okay. But they looked baller.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yes, yes. Right. So you heard it here first.
yeah,
Right. Well, I think all that's left to do is to sign off.
is to say Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. It's been a jam.
It has.
It's been a laugh, isn't it? We've had fun.
We've
if
had fun.
Nothing else.
Yes.
So thanks for watching. Kate's intro's done better than mine. Are you going to do all the intros next year?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Yoga pants.
No.
I'll wear yoga pants if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
If it sells, yeah, okay, like that, mate.
Right.
Right.
24 hours until Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
it's less than 24 hours, babe.
Delaying saying it,
I know.
apparently.
22 hours until
Merry
It's because
Christmas.
it'll
Christmas.
probably explode or melt.
22 hours until Christmas.
My
No.
favourite.
Right.
All right, that is it. Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Smash
See you in
buttons.
the new year.
Let us know. Wait, on anything. I don't know. Just write something. And we'll see you in the new year.
Bye.
Laters. Boop.